going to kick it right into gear. With a heart for true community impact and a strong passion for volunteering, here to talk to us about empowering volunteers to create collaborative change, help me welcome Natalie Evans.
Hi. I work for a local nonprofit called OKC Beautiful, and we engage thousands of volunteers every year. It's not the most glamorous volunteer gig, as it usually involves picking up trash, getting your hands in dirt, and usually getting pretty sweaty. We have a sweet woman who volunteers with us regularly named Terry. Terry volunteered during the very first Earth Day in 1970, picking up trash, and she's been volunteering to help better the environment ever since. As she says, on that day, she was hooked. Passion leads to purpose, leads to progress. In the 1980s and 90s, a man by the name of Bert Cooper was volunteering his time to help develop trails around Lake Hefner. He was not a city employee, but he believed in the power of trails to help shape a community. He applied for grants, raised funds, and built community support. These trails are now visited by over 1 million individuals each year. Throughout history, volunteers have rallied together for a common purpose. Volunteers have come together to expand voting access, develop civil rights, create more equitable communities, feed neighbors, and help their community. The very first fire department was volunteer-driven and has saved incalculable lives in rural communities even today. Volunteers have given their time, their effort, and at times their lives to help their community. In Oklahoma, we understand the power and the impact of volunteers. Through natural disasters, we've seen the impact of Tornado Alley, but we've also seen the impact of volunteers to help rebuild. We've seen the impact of domestic terrorism with the 1995 Murrah building bombing, but we also saw a community come together. We understand here the power and the implication of the Oklahoma Standard. Today, volunteering is more commonplace. It's typically a question on college and job applications. Many workplaces and schools have mandatory service hours. And yet, it's estimated that only 25% of Americans will volunteer for at least 1 hour in an entire year. Imagine if that number was 50% or 75%. What could our communities be capable of if we all dedicated ourselves to more service? Volunteering doesn't have to be a regularly reoccurring commitment to an organization. It could be phone banking from the comfort of your home. It could be retweeting an organization's tweets just to help them spread their reach. At times, I met with skepticism about whether or not volunteers really make a difference, if free labor really makes an impact in a community. But if you're skeptical and you're not particularly motivated by social causes, let me tell you that volunteering can be just as good for you as it is for the organization you serve. Volunteering helps you build new skills, whether it's digging for sweet potatoes or learning how to use a shovel, or it could be communication skills or leadership skills. It also gives you a network of people who have similar interest, passion, and commitment to community that you have. It also makes business sense to volunteer. It's a chance for teams to get out of the typical office environment or classroom setting and come together for a common purpose. Whenever teams do this, it develops social cohesion and gives chances for students and employees to come together, be part of their community, and drive positive cause. So I want you to think about, what's something that you're interested in? What's a passion that you have? Do you like graphic design, walking dogs, reading books, talking to neighbors? No matter what your interest or your passion is, there is a volunteer opportunity out there that is perfect for you, and there's a community that needs your support. When I was younger, I always thought that making a difference was some spectacular big change, like publishing the next great American novel or becoming president. But what I've come to realize and what I see every day is change can happen in everyday incremental acts of just showing up, being part of your community, working together to create a positive change. So I encourage you, think about what's your passion, what's your purpose, and become part of that progress. Thank you.
Talk about making a difference. Anybody want to volunteer now? I'm ready to volunteer. Yeah.